And welcome back to another tutorial series on the Scratch series that I'm creating. In the previous video we added a first-person mesh into our already generated Scratch game that we're creating. I did have one problem where it locked me out of being able to look up and down. As I said in the last video, I would find a fix for this video, and so I did. If you go into your character blueprint and you click on camera under your details panel, at the very bottom, where'd it go? Okay, it was in here. Oh, right here it is, under camera settings. Use pawn control rotation. It was not allowing the rotation to be used because that was not enabled. Because when you're moving up and down, left and right, the camera is actually turning to go with that. So it would not prevent or not allow you to do that. So that's how you fix that. Now, ignore the cat meow in the background, please. We just got a new cat, and she thinks she rules the roost, even though there's 3 others in the house. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to create a third-person blueprint. Now, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use a different character blueprint. So I'm going to actually right-click on this one. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm just going to call this Scratch underscore TPP underscore character. Alright, and that's going to be for third person player. Alright. Now we have this folder here. We're going to make a new folder. We're going to call this TPP TOO character. We're going to make the same 3 folders that we made the last time. Again, that's not assets, that's material, that's animations, and then mesh. Okay, and now we got to get our third-person mesh. Now, again, I will have these in the descriptions down below for you to download them and use these particular ones if you want to. You can get all of these ones that I'm using from the Myaxmo website. Its address will be in the details as well. Also use a program called Fuse, which is by Myaxmo to make the characters. You can then upload them to the Myaxmo site for auto rigging and for animations. They're not the super greatest, but they will get you started, and they are very helpful. So let's bring in my military guy here, and we're going to bring in, where's he at? There he is. Oh, we'll bring in just the base, no, military one. We're going to bring that one in, and then we're going to bring in the, let's see, I don't have all the same animations for him that I had for the other one, so we're just going to bring in the idle, and we'll bring in these 3 walks because I don't remember which one it is that goes into it. Now notice it's asking for a skeleton. Obviously we don't have one to link to it, so then that means we're doing something wrong, so cancel that. Import just the military one for right now. Alright, import skeleton, all that checks out. Import all. Go ahead and let it import in. Now, once it imports in, you are going to want to check just to make sure everything imported in properly for your character, your textures, your UV maps, stuff like that. Okay. If you're using the Myaxmo Auto Rig, you'll get this or any of the Myaxmo package characters. You're going to get this right eye, left hand 4, thumb 4. Just ignore all of that. That really means nothing. Of course, I can't cancel out of it either while it's auto-saving. I'm going to let it auto-save, and then I will be right back. Alright, auto-saving is done, so now if we open up our character here, we can see we have a nice little, somewhat based military person. Nothing too fancy. Alright, now, let's go ahead and separate all this like we did the other one real quick. Oops. Take all of that, slide it into there, and then all of this, and slide it into there as well. Alright, now you'll notice though that we don't have any animations for this, so we're going to have to fix that. So we'll go here to animations, import, and let's grab walking and idle. Now we make sure it's linked to the military one skeleton. Just going to import all those, and then we can see here we have our idle, and then we go over here. Now he's not walking in place, he's walking forward. That will not work, because as soon as you go to hit the forward key to walk forward, he will try to play that actual walking forward animation. So I'm going to bring in my other two walking animations. I'm going to see if one of them two is the... Okay, neither one of them are apparently the walking in place animations. So I'm going to actually see if I can take... let's duplicate these two. Duplicate. Okay. We're going to shift them into this one. Move here. And then I'm going to retarget the skeletons. It's not going to let me do it like this. Alright. Well, the walk with two, I know we can get imported in here, so let's go ahead and just delete that one out for right now. We're going to go with an import. I'm going to back out of this, go into my main character, and I'm going to grab, I think it was that one. Yes, but I'm going to link it to the military one. And now, if you notice, once we do that, it's still the same thing. Once you get to where you know which animations you're using, you know which ones to grab out and all. I think that's the one, yeah, that's the one I just imported in. Congratulations, I am blind. Alright, so now as you can see, we're walking here and we are in place. So that is the animation we want for that. So now we can delete that one out, delete this other one out. Now we've got to get this sprinting one working. And I know a way to do it, but it's really not something I like doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open it up. And I am going to... Is there a way... I thought there might have been a way to change the skeleton it was linked to. Oh wait, here we go. No, detail maybe? No. Alright. I was hoping there was a way I can like reapply it to another skeleton. But apparently create a copy for another skeleton. I would have to map it. So. Well, we're going to get a quick course on how to do that. Okay. What it's asking about by mapping skeletons is you open up your skeleton thing, come up here to Retarget Manager, it'll open this nice little thing up, select Humanoid Rig, and it's not going to do it for us, so you know what, I'm just not going to worry about it. I'll save that for another video, because that's actually rather annoying. Okay, so we're not going to do a sprint for this one. We're just going to do a idle and a walk, okay, for the third person. But the sprint's going to be done the same way it is for the first person. You just add the additional animation in for everything. So now we're going to add in our animations. So we're going to go to Animation, Animation Blueprint. We're going to go to Anim Instance, we're going to go Anim Instance, and we want to use Military 1 Skeleton. We're going to hit that one and hit OK. And we're going to call this Scratch _TPP _ anim. Okay? Go ahead and double click that up. We notice we have our T-pose. We're going to do the state machine again. Connect that up. This time it'll actually be a lot easier. Double click on the state machine to get into this window, by the way. If you're just looking into this for the third person one, do go back to the first person one. That way you can get a more in-depth explanation on what is exactly going on here. I'm kind of just speeding through the third person one since it's the same stuff I did in the other one. Alright, idle, if I could spell. Go ahead and connect up your entry to your idle. Hit compile, save. You notice that the idle animation is working. Connect the walk up. Okay. Now connect walk. Now again we need to have the settings and all that for it. So what we need to do is we need to create our variables again. We need to create is in air and is walking. We do not need an is running this time since we're not going to be running. We're just going to be walking. So create that back. And technically we don't need an is in air, but we are going to add a jump feature later or to this particular one. So you will be able to get the idea of that. And we can even add the jump one to the first person just to see it and go with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this. We're going to grab the is walking, connect it in. And then for this one here, we're going to grab the is walking and do a not. All right. Now again, that's just drag off of this. Do not. It's a not boolean. Okay. Now that sets up as far as the animation is concerned. We still need to do the event graph here, so just drag off of this, cast to scratch. Now you want to do the third person character, not the first person, because this is a different blueprint. Drag off of that. Character movement. Scroll to the bottom. Movement mode. Get mode. Drag off of that. Equals. Go to enum. Is in the air. Set. Let's connect. And connect those. Drag off of that. Get velocity. Okay. Once you have the velocity, remember velocity is a 3-digit, an X, a Y, and a Z value. In the case of your base, 0, 0, 0, but you cannot determine movement based off of that within Unreal, so you have to have yourself a vector length. You can do squared, but you have to redo your own math. But if you just do vector length, it spits out a raw number. And then if you drag off of that and you do greater than, if it's greater than 0, obviously we're moving, therefore we are walking. Set, and walking becomes true. Alright, that's all we have to do for that. Oh, I missed one thing. Right here where it says the equal enum, you have to select falling. Okay, so compile, save again, and then you can close out of that. Now, for the blueprints, go under your TPP character. Right. Now remember, I did a duplicate, so I have my first person stuff in here and all as well. So I have to change some things. Okay. First thing I'm changing is my camera location. Alright. I'm going to bring it up some. And I kind of want to put it over the character like that. So bring it. Oh, we better do it this way. Oops, let's do a top view here. Alright. I want to do that. I want to kind of do it like this. Now this is purely, what do you want? How do you want to look over the shoulder of this character that you're creating here? And remember, this orb right here, even though you see the first person arms here, This orb right here, this capsule, that's where the character is going to actually be placed. So now we just go into here, go to details, switch out main character for military 1, place him over there. Left. Save. Top. Right. Front. Perspective. Alright. And then for the animation, set the new one that we just set again. Alright, compile. It is not adjusting to that skeleton. But we'll look into that in a minute. Alright. Now something I'll normally do when I'm trying to position a third-person character, I'll reattach the FPS to just the capsule. That way I can move the camera freely and not have the problem of the camera moving the character, then having to reposition the character, and so on and so forth. So I'll get behind the camera here, or the character, bring you down. Oops. Alright, now hit compile, save. Now another way you can do this, oh, it did apparently, or I don't know. The image here says it updated, but yeah, it didn't. Now what you're going to have to do is in your game mode, we're going to have to switch from using the first person one to the third person. So under default pawn, switch over to the TPP, and then hit play. And then see, we can see here, we can still walk forward, we can walk backwards, we can walk left, we can walk right, but our camera isn't quite where we want it. So now this is where you get a nice little trick, and I stumbled upon this on accident, okay? And my player configure that I'm going to have up in a second is going to be on the other screen, but all it is still this, my viewport with my camera selected, okay? So I'm going to drag this over here, and you're not going to be able to see what it is I am doing, but you'll be able to tell in this viewport what I'm doing. Or I'm not, because for some reason it doesn't want to update in real time. Okay. So apparently it's not wanting to update in real time like I had doing the other day. So all you have to do is you just keep playing with it until you get it where you want it. And then you'll eventually get it how you want it. Okay. But you can see it's kind of starting to line up over the character a little bit more. And you can move around and all that fun stuff. And like I can move the camera around. And now notice it's not straight on the character itself anymore. So when I move, the camera still stays relatively centered and all, but I can move back and move on it. Now I'm going to relink the character to the camera, and I want to show you something. Okay, so now if we do it, notice how like we can just walk and walk and walk and walk, and I was falling. Okay, with this particular instance, okay, and I actually think I have simulate graphics on, or physics on, that's why it was doing that. No. If I'm with this one, you do not want to use pawn rotation, and that should actually solve that problem. Yeah, so you can't go up and down anymore, but you can walk without the problem of going up and going down, but you still fall off the side. Okay, let me put that back on a second, because you still should not be able to walk any further. Okay, yeah. You do not want to, in a third-person thing, link the camera and the FPS character together. In fact, you could probably link the camera to the FPS character to where, as the character moves, you can still move the camera around the character, and the character still moves. But where the character goes, so too does the camera. Alright. But that's how we do that. Now that will take care of this, and that will end this tutorial and what we're going to do here. In the next video, I am hoping to be able to shift between first person and third person meshes. So I'm actually going to have to dig out my full body of the FPS one that I have on here so that I can switch back and forth from it, so I'm not going from like leather glove arms to a military uniform here. So that's going to be the next video, so I look forward to seeing you in it.